What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to episode 44 of Thick and Thin with LB Duty and Hitman. This week's episode, the topic of the hour, is the passion of gamers and why they nerd rage. And why does anyone want to be involved in a hobby in which they're continuously throwing $60 controllers at the screen? I don't. But before we get on to that, and let me introduce you to our lovely guest hosts. In this corner, weighing in at 125 pounds, LBSUTK. What's up? What's going on?
For a second there, I thought he was talking about me.
No.
Yeah, I was like 125 kilos. Isn't that like something worse than pound? Oh.
No.
What's up, everybody? How you doing? Welcome back to the show. Hope you enjoyed today's topic.
Nerd rage.
Nerd rage.
And the 350-pound man all the way from Canada seriously needs to lose weight. That popcorn is not helping. Hitman.
Not at all.
Not at all.
What's going on, everybody?
So the topic this week is an interesting one, only because if you've been checking out the website, looking in the Halo forums and stuff like that, we've got a little bit of nerd rage going on, but it's well-versed nerd rage, I feel. It's not angry yet. It's like, we ride that cusp often on Tool to Play of anger and hatred, and often that cusp gets completely ridden off the bridge and goes over and explodes and people get banned and stuff like that. But it's an interesting topic just because as older gamers, you would think a lot of us are subdued and we just want to play and we don't want to bitch a lot. But no. No. Contraire. In fact, we rage more, I would say. Overall, we probably rage more than the younger generation because we have more to bitch about. That's what happens when you get older. You just hate more things. That's it. Just hate more things. But before we get on that topic, a little bit of news. Hopefully in the coming weeks, I actually got a call from the Wall Street Journal. And they want to do a front page article on Tool to Play and how it got started. And they did a little interview with me. So I'm going to be looking for a couple people in the site itself to kind of talk about what they do on Tool to Play and get a bunch of perspectives. I don't know if that's actually going to get published anytime soon. It's kind of like a thing where they're just testing it as an article. But it's really cool. Wall Street Journal, if you don't know what that is, you're definitely not old enough to join the site. But if you do, you know that it's really cool. And they're doing an article on me and Tool to Play. So that's pretty cool, LB. What do you think about that?
Well, first I thought you got trolled.
Why did you?
I was like, no way. There's no way that's true.
Why?
Somebody's trolling you.
Why isn't that true?
Jacking around with
Why?
you. They're like, let's make Duty think you were, really Wall Street Journal.
What?
Okay.
I'm really popular.
Oh my god!
Can't you tell? There's five.
No faith, man.
There's
Nah,
five-
Look at he's got to look at disappointment.
There's five.
Listen,
There's five
listen.
viewers in here that think that it's a good thing.
I've seen Too Old to Play as a whole.
Okay.
I've seen the secret sauce.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen behind the scenes.
The Iron Curtain has been lifted. Okay.
The Iron Curtain. The rosy glasses are off.
Okay.
And to believe that the Wall Street Journal would be calling up being like, hey, we're interested to hear what you have to say.
I feel like you're really hurting my chances now of getting this article published. You are not the spokesman that I think we should have. Ever.
Well,
Really.
I mean, I hope it's accurate.
Yeah.
I hope that it should be pretty good. It'd be kind of cool to actually see it posted out there, and I agree that it would be a cool topic. But just it kind of, when you're involved with something, you don't generally think that it's as grandiose as like other people may think.
You're saying it's a shit show here. It's a shit show. Yeah.
I'm saying a lot of people work really hard to put forth a product that might not be the best product.
It's the best product available. You know what we sell here, LB? We sell dreams.
We do.
We create dreams for people. You're fucking this whole thing up.
We are dream makers and dream creators.
That's all we are. Hit, you believe in it, right? You're like, of course this is happening. Of course. Why didn't it happen earlier?
No, I'm not like that. I'm just,
well, what the fuck? What do you people do? I don't even need you guys anymore.
I'm happy that it happened. Don't get me wrong. That's cool. But yeah, no, like if you're gonna if what you're saying is they're starting to do articles about communities and stuff like that, yeah, this is a good community to talk about.
Thanks for
Yeah.
agreeing that we make the cut.
Mine's not as
What
bad
the-
as LB's.
This is the shittiest fucking show. I don't even know why I talk to you guys anymore. This is so stupid. You're
No,
like,
man,
yeah,
this is good
no.
news.
I guess if they're doing an art, like, do they just not have anything else to write about, or what?
Well,
Why?
I mean,
No.
look at this perspective. Look, like Major Nelson, he probably gets interviewed and he's like, "Oh, okay, I'm get another interview about Xbox Live or Xbox." He doesn't think it's like Xbox and Xbox Live. He's like, "All right, it's day 3 of the week. When do I get to go home and
Yeah, that's like
not
me.
be here?"
It's like I'm the same way. It's interview after interview all day long. Anyway, so that'll be cool. So we're looking to find some people, and yeah, I don't know. Now
So we
LB's
get-
got me bummed out. What are you saying,
I
Hit?
know.
Bummed
Are
out.
you
I
gonna
just-
piss on my parade as well, Hit, or you have something?
I'm a little
No.
surprised.
I'm on your side. I think it's a good idea. This is good.
I feel like you're not, but that's okay.
No.
I don't feel like
As gaming becomes more popular and the average gamer age is like what, 35 or something?
yes.
Yeah, like people are gonna talk about it and they're gonna want to talk to like older gamers, and Too Old to Play is a older gamer group. So
Right.
yeah, it makes sense. It's
Yeah.
inevitable that an
Of
article
course.
like this will come out.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I can see the basis for it. It's just shocking that it would happen to us.
I guess you guys are fucking dicks. That's all I'm gonna say. You guys are dicks, and I hate this site. I hate everything about it.
Wow.
I'm turning it down.
Wow.
It was a good run,
Don't
guys.
do that.
Guys, it was a good run. We made it pretty far. Congratulations. Anyway, so the topic for this week is nerd rage, basically. I mean, we were talking about it. We were talking about different ways, like, is it the passion? Is it the... No, it's fucking nerd rage. That's the easiest way to describe it. And why, the question is, why do we as gamers, older gamers, rage more than the younger gamers? LB, give a little background about why you thought about this. Give a little taste about the thread and how this kind of came about and all that stuff, just so people know. A little history, if you will.
Well, it's kind of a combination of different things. Over the past week, there has been a couple threads in our famous Halo forum that kind of create topics or drive a little bit more participation. And I may have started one, and Deep may have started the other one. And I even apologized in my first post saying, I know this is probably going to turn out really, really bad, but this is how I feel. And I posted about it. And of course, right now we're looking at I think 3 or 4 pages and X amount of posts, and you've got contradicting opinions going back and forth. And I saw another tweet today from another game host and personality on Twitter saying, why do people get so passionate about games and they basically nerd rage or flip out? It's almost more than it's like politics or religion. And it got me thinking, holy shit, it's kind of on the same level. Because, if you got Facebook or if you got any social network and you got somebody saying oh, I hate people that kill babies, or if you're like, oh, gun control, you are guaranteed 1,000 hits of rage.
Yeah, if that's all Facebook is nowadays. You go on Facebook and you just say I'm into guns, or you say whatever. Doesn't matter. You say anything political or religious based, you're bound to create a shitstorm. And now in gaming, depending on the subject you're talking about, you can create that same shitstorm. And the question is why? I mean, so for the Halo example, in this particular case, we were rambling about Bolt Shot. And if you haven't played Halo before, or Halo 4 rather, there's this weapon that you get, it's the Bolt Shot. And again, this is going to be my opinion, this is what causes rage, but it's really good. For a weapon that you start out with, that you can get, as soon as the game starts up, you have this weapon. It's a one-shot kill if it's charged at close range. It mimics the damage and range of a shotgun, which is the power weapon.
Wait. It's not even close range.
Right.
It's relative proximity.
Yes.
Let's put it that
in
way.
the area.
Arm
Let's
length.
go with that. Arm length. Sure. Yeah. This area is a no-go zone for the Bolt Shot. It's a no-go. Do not pass go. But what it did was, unfortunately, too many, I should say, is create an imbalance in the game. And many would say that imbalance isn't really there because everyone starts with the bolt shot. So therefore, if everyone has this gun, there isn't the imbalance. But the naysayers or the people on the other side of that then say, well, yes, but now you're creating a different gameplay altogether, because if everyone has to use the bolt shot, then no one's actually playing Halo how they're used to playing Halo, which is more of that mid to long range battling and stuff like that. There's some good close up fights, but there's no variance there. If everyone's using the bolt shot, then we're just playing Halo bolt shot. That's the game. So obviously what happens is some guy says, I've got statistics, and this is the awesome part of nerd raging if you're an older gamer, because what you know that you have to do as an older gamer is you have to create fact in some way. You've got to figure out a way to show and prove, because we're all internet tough guys, so we got to prove why our side is the right side. So what ends up happening with Nerd Rage is you then say, well, I've looked at the figures, and the figures show that if you use the bolt shot and you get a whole new slew of people then defending their position. And it just goes back and forth. And here's the thing. It's the internet. No one's going to agree. No one's going to say, oh, I've seen your statistics. I've looked them over.
Exactly. Or like,
Right.
oh, that actually makes sense. I think I'm going to change my position.
In fact, the crazy part is sometimes you'll see someone say, man, that was a great point, but too bad you're wrong. So, and that's like what ends up happening. So the question is like, why? It's a hobby. We all love it. We're all there. And especially when Tool to Play kind of started, the whole idea was to get together and be friendly and play. So what is it about games that strips that away? I mean, like, what do you think, LB? Is it just that we're all Neanderthals and we want to eventually smash each other over the face? Is that what it is? Or, I mean, like, what does gaming do that brings it out in people?
Honestly, I think that it is kind of like that primal thing. And a part of it, I think, as gamers, generally,
Right.
we may be perceived as not the ideal type in society.
Mm-hmm.
So we already kind of have a chip on our shoulder, and we use like, oh, I cited this link or this statistic. So instantly we have rage just waiting to happen. So when we are challenged and we can do those famous Google searches to come up with
stats
X fact to support our position, we take it to the tilt. Just full bore, pin in the needle. I've got this proof. I've got the answer. Listen to me. Look at my results.
Right.
And that's what you want. That's what you're putting out there. You're like, hey, look, I said A, B, and C happen, and you get D results.
Right.
How can you prove me wrong? And then, of course, somebody's out there and is like, nah. Your A, B, C, and results are bullshit because of X, Y, and Z.
Right.
And here you go. And so then it starts. You're back and forth. You're happening. You're posting. You're getting notifications like, oh, your thread's been replied to. Fuck, I got to check that out. I don't care what I got to do. What's going on? And so you go in and you read it and you get angry.
Yep.
And you're like, whoa, how can you not see my position?
I've clearly laid it out.
Facts. I cited websites. I cited specific data. And yet you do not see where I'm coming from. And I don't understand that. It just happens. It just the switch gets flipped.
Yeah.
And the rage is unleashed.
Well, and the question then, I guess, is, so this is a national occurrence. I mean, this is probably on a daily basis. In fact, the more popular the game, obviously, the more popular the rage, right? If it's a shitty game, no one rages over it. It's just, that's how it is. Yeah. And the more competitive style of the game, which Halo kind of fits that bill, the more the rage happens. And like Burnt is saying in chat, competitive spirit is what drives the rage. If you're a naturally competitive type of person, you're naturally going to want your position to be known. Not only are you going to want that position to be known, but you're going to want everyone to know that position is actually correct. And everyone else's position is not. And in gaming, there's really no way to do that face to face. And so we're left with the internet. And unfortunately, the internet is not the best place to have an argument. It is completely faceless, and there is no ramifications for having an argument. So we nerd rage. And so the question then becomes, is the nerd rage healthy? Because in a community like Tool to Play that's built on bonding and, getting together with other people, the question is that healthy for that community? Is nerd rage a good thing? And the reason I pose this question is because when you have nerd rage and you have a juicy thread that's just like, oh man, you see the one post, no one's replied yet, but you read it and you're like, oh fuck, this shit is about to he didn't. You know that everyone's going to go to that thread. And so it actually drives traffic and it builds maybe not the community you wanted, but certainly a community. And that's never been seen anywhere near as bad as it has in Halo. Sometimes Call of Duty goes that route as well. And some people flip out about that, but Halo seems to have this reoccurring thing where a lot of people are driven to it because of the nerd rage. So what do you think? Do you think it's helped or hurt to have the nerd rage? LB.
Well, kind of first, I'm going to disagree with you a little bit that it's not just only Halo, but it's primarily Halo.
Yeah.
I think any game out there that has some competitive aspect to it, you're definitely going to have the nerd rage.
Sure.
Period.
I'm not saying just Halo, but yeah, sure.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it would be, maybe not necessarily in our community, but if you go on the COD forums, I bet you got
totally.
50% of oh, the SMGs suck giant dick, and then 50% of oh, you're a retard, the best weapon, and it goes on there as well.
Right.
But as far as our community, it's twofold, because yes, you have an active topic that people are participating in, and it's great and everything like that, but at the same time, it can create an animosity that is based upon some stupid fact in the game.
Right.
That you're yelling at each other, or you feel this way about the other person because they either like X or don't like X. And I'm not going to be I'm not to blame in this situation, because I participated in 2 different threads. And honestly, as a mod, I kind of rewrote multiple posts of mine that I was no.
Yeah, you're I can't go this far.
I've got to back out. I've got to delete 90% of what I just said and rephrase it.
Because what you really want to say is, you fucking dipshit, how do you not understand why I'm so right? I'm so right and you're so... That's what you want to say.
If you were sitting next to me, I would cock punch you right now.
Right, yeah, that's
you
really...
don't understand. I'm going to punch you in the dick.
But it's... So... I mean, here's a cool thing, and so everyone in chat's kind of talking about it as well. But Burnt put up a really good point, which is for Forza, it's got a completely separate community that's mostly based on helping each other and building these races and getting things started, helping people get their cars. So is nerd rage a gaming thing, or now are we gonna have to say it's maybe FPS only? I mean, why does a lot of this rage seem to come from a multiplayer game, just like Forza, but that's based on a shooter? What is it about the shooter? And Hit, you're a well-known nerd rager. You say you rage probably on a daily basis. You might even be raging right now. We don't know. It's the quiet anger that you've got. People don't know. But why do you think it is, Hit, that FPS brings out the hate in everyone? Why is that?
I'm like Switzerland in this debate. I kind of see both sides, and I can't explain it at all. It's such a weird phenomenon. I don't know.
Is it the one-on-one? I guess the thing with me in FPS, the only reason I can feel it brings rage out more is because it's got that sort of... there's an aspect to it where it's it's very small groups of people fighting against each other. And I feel like when it's that sort of team situation and everything is really analyzed down to the headshot or who got more kills per death, and you can really get into those stats, that it drives debate and it drives all these different ways. But at the same token, I feel like you can drill down into racing that deep as well. You can get down to the very last second, what car you use, what all that shit, and yet it doesn't seem to happen as much. At least maybe not in our community. There could be a racing community out there where people are this fucking car is bullshit. That could be, but from what we've seen, that doesn't seem to occur, and it only seems to really occur in FPS. I mean, what do you think, LB?
Well, I mean, kind of, and I think it's my assumption. I don't do a lot of the racing stuff, and
Right.
hopefully Burnt can answer this for me. But when you do your races, you guys will say like, okay, you can use car X and Y, tune it to 1 and 2, and it's going to be this race. So you're already setting the parameters. And if something is already OP or overpowered or whatnot, you're either already adding it or taking it out. So you have that out of it. And specifically this topic of the bolt shot,
Right.
everybody can use it all the time. There is no, hey, we're going to get together and we're going to play capture the flag, but you can't use the bolt shots.
Right.
We don't put that out there. So I think you have an aspect of the game that everybody can use that is not eliminated, that shits on people from unrealistic.
I feel like your opinion is showing
Raging.
through here.
I am.
Someone
I'm letting it come out.
disagree. Some
I'm
people
letting
would
it
disagree
come
with what you're
out.
saying.
But I mean, it's kind of like, okay, we're gonna all race Miatas, but so and so is gonna get to have his
Ferrari.
Porsche 911 Carrera Turbo GT5.
Right.
It's that kind of difference that I'm perceiving. So hopefully Burnt can be like, yeah, we kind of have a little bit more control of that. But
Well, and I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's too because that you've got a community that is, I think, competitive by nature. Not that the Forza guys aren't, but I mean, on a singular level as well, a lot of people are really just trying to be the best at whatever they're doing in Halo. And even it's funny that even like the casual players of Halo chime in. That's what I find so interesting about this. I would love to do like an actual study to find out where this nerd rage truly comes from, because you'll have guys that they're just like casually playing Halo 4. They're like, we play it on the weekends, whatever. And then you're like, oh, but hey, casual guy, don't you think that bolt shot's fine? And they're like, no, are you crazy? You're a dumbass. And you're like, whoa, casual guy, let's calm down a bit here. We're supposed to be casual.
let's pull that casual guy.
And that sort of thing is like what's so amazing about it. And it's done. I'll go even a step further. I've played 32 total games of online Halo 4. I stepped into that thread and immediately I had to give my opinion. I was like, no, guys, you're all wrong. Let me set you all. I don't play this game, but I will tell you how it should be played and why it's overpowered.
You consider yourself a casual?
Yeah. For Halo?
What?
Sure.
No, man.
Yeah, sure.
No, wait.
You've been
You got
playing
a point.
first-person shooters for years.
No, wait.
You've been playing every Halo.
True.
He's a casual, I would even dare say not even casual, Halo 4 player. Now, if you were to go to a different back out saying, does Duty have experience in playing FPSs? All right, then yeah, he's a different classification. But if you're going to compare apples to apples,
I'm casual.
having him come in
baby.
after 36 games,
32. 32 games is that is my whole.
But
That's all I've learned. 32 games.
raging isn't determined on how much you play a certain game. Like when you rage, it's because of shooters, like a more broad-based genre. Like Duty's just not gonna only rage about Halo. He's gonna rage. You talk about a certain gun in Borderlands 2, he's gonna rage about it.
Are you now classifying me as a rager?
No, but I'm just saying, like,
Interesting.
you gotta look back to why you start to rage. Like for me, I only started raging after I became a gamer and started getting good at certain games.
Oh, really?
And then that's when I started noticing. That's when I started raging. Like you're in a game, and you see a cheater in Halo 2, and you're like, "Fucking asshole," and you like freak out. Or, yeah, then to the point where we're at now with Halo 4, you're talking about like a certain gun that's not good to use.
Yeah, it gets to that like fine, really like granular level of like,
Yeah.
oh, this bolt shot, and then it like when I see these threads and I see like even so, Burnt's even saying it too, like inevitably, even in like racers, even in the more calmer of the games, they don't like bumping. I mean, this I've heard a million times before too. Like when people like race, they don't like people bumping and jockeying for those positions, stuff like that. They want to race like you normally would race. Part of the simulation of the racing. And so like when you get to that fine granular level, that's where the rage is the biggest, right? Like some people would say, I can't believe you guys are having a 5-day argument over a bolt shot. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Like, God forbid anyone ever actually who doesn't game reads this, because they're like, these are some sad human beings. But that's the truth. When you get to the granular level of gaming, that's where the rage really lives. You have to be totally invested in it in some way, or had been invested in it to even care enough to rage about it. And that's in a way, and it kind of brings me back to what we were talking about before. In a way, I feel like that builds community in a maybe an unhealthy way. I don't know, but it creates a place for people to, if done well, raging, I think, can build a community if they don't go over that line. And that line is a very, very hard thing to balance, because at the end of the day, you're always on the edge of calling someone a cockbag. Like, you're just like, oh, 2 more words.
See you next Tuesday.
Right. And it's a fucking weak ban. So, but at the same time, a lot of what I see in those threads, I really like. It's like, oh, there's this great back and forth and people are bringing up really good points, but you're towing the line. You're like, you're on the cusp of failure. You know what I mean? I'll be like, it's,
oh yeah.
And it's still rage, right? But it's like, it's controlled rage. It's rage with, facts and statistics and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, you hope it's controlled rage. I mean, listen, I love what Deep has done for our community.
Me too.
All right. A huge shout out to that guy. He puts forth 1,000,000,000% effort above and beyond. And if anything, he should be given a little more understanding from where he's coming from.
Right.
And I understand his style of gameplay is probably drastically different than my style of gameplay. And I really tried to balance that when I was creating that, well, not the Bolt Shot post, but my other post. Or even like when I contributed in the Bolt Shot post, I was like, all right, back off. Delete just, 3/4 of what you put and look at it outside the box.
Right.
Not everyone may do that. And then you get this animosity that even though you may be agreeing with somebody on the other side and you actually come to the realization where you're like, holy shit, I'm agreeing with X member.
Yeah, right.
How the hell is that even possible? Because I think, normally X member is
a douche.
Yeah, he's a douche.
He's a douche.
X-member
Like, oh my god,
douche.
douche. Yeah. Wow. But then you find yourself on his side and you're like, wait, whoa. So it's really tough. And like you said, it's a very thin line.
Yeah.
That some people try not to cross, and then other people are like, I give 0 fucks about the line.
Cross
I'm going in.
Well, right, and that kind of brings me to the other thing I was thinking. Like, some people, I feel they want to rage. Like they can't wait to rage. They're there for the sole purpose of wanting to shove their opinion down somebody else's throat. And I love gamers. I love the community. I love how everyone acts. I enjoy the back and forth. That's one of my favorite things about Tool to Play is being able to rib on someone in a way to still show your point, but that they get that and they're not like offended by having a point of view. And again, that's often what causes rage in the first place is I say something, in a joking manner about how I feel about the Bolt Shot or whatever in this example. And that triggers a response that is completely not even in the same vicinity of what I was going for.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the trouble with it. It really is.
Internet forums or the written word, you don't have that one-on-one visual representation.
Right.
You could have said the same thing to the same person, like in a bar, and you give like your little face or certain look where that other person realized that, okay, he's just being sarcastic or he's just giving me shit. But you post it on the internet, and it's written, and people are like, "Oh my God, he's saying it for real. He thinks I truly believe I suck dick bags, or whatever it is."
Right. Suck dick bags. I like that. Suck dick bags.
But
dick bag.
like, when it's written, or when people are interpretation something that has been written, it takes a whole magical presence that is like, oh my God, he's part of the evil empire or whatever, and that just, it takes on a evil rage of its own that you're trying to fight against.
Well, it's interesting too. I mean, like for the most part, if I feel like if a community they have a solid theme to like really rally around, that usually the rage is good. In the sense that rage kind of weeds out also bad apples at the same time. You can see people that like, okay, they rage all the time. They clearly can't handle this. They need to like kind of go their own way. And then in the same respect, if you have like pockets, like a lot of the strife that happens with Tool to Play, like you said, if you don't know someone on that like more personal level, or you haven't gamed with them, it's so much easier to just rage and walk away. Like I see a lot of times where people have, they have their own passion for a game, but they'll understand that someone in their own clan that they play with that has a different point of view is okay, and they don't need to sort of force their opinion on them because that's someone that they know. They're like, oh, well, I totally think you're wrong, but I understand your point of view, and we don't have to have this conversation. But what ends up happening with the gaming, in general is you don't know that guy from Adam, and you really don't know what his opinion is, but you also don't care. You go into it with your set opinion, ready to win a fictitious battle that can't be won. And so you're just...
I will win.
I will give them this series of plotted points in this Excel spreadsheet with all these images and a graph, and by the end of this thread, they will say, holy shit, how did I not see your point of view? But that never happens. I mean, that never happens.
No, absolutely.
So what about... Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, it's kind of like, if you haven't been a member of Tool to Play for a while, or, maybe you haven't had a chance to go to LANs and everything like that, if I avoid the Halo Waypoint forums at all costs.
Yeah, that's like a...
Not that I'm, like, scared to go in there, but I don't have the same relationship that I do with a lot of people here. So if I go in there, I think the rage is going to take over more for me, and I'm just going to be like, you are a bunch of fucking psychos, and you were wrong, and this is why, and screw you all, you Adderall twisted little monster drinking fucks, because I'm right.
Wow.
So, I mean, there's that point, and I think maybe a lot of people feel like that, but, when I'm in our community, I'm like, well, I've played with these people, and I'm not going to unleash that...
Your fury?
My fury, my rage, if you will, because I'm going to tend to give them a little bit more of the benefit of the doubt. Or even, like, when I see you post and you're like, well, fuck you, LB. I'm like, well, he's having a good time.
Yeah,
but if you have a new person see that, and they're like, oh, this guy just told this guy to fuck off. Where does he come from? You could instantly have that guy against you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what do you think then, like, in game? Like, I know we talk a lot about just the raging that we have on the forums itself, and obviously it's not something that's ever going to end. It's the passion of the game. But so in game, I mean, where do you think that comes from? Is that to me is that more like guttural sort of natural feeling of like, I want to win, and I'm going to win at all costs, and fuck everyone else around me. I'm going to rage. I mean, because to use you as an example, Hit, you don't really rage too much on the forums. Like that, it doesn't seem to pull it out of you as much as it does like when you're actually playing. Is there any reason for that, or is it just that's the way you are?
No. I just learned over the years not to chime in. Yeah, no, it's just you can't win an argument on the internet. I learned that the hard way.
So why then? Why when you like if you're raging while playing?
Playing all the time, like nightly. If you ever watch my live streams, I'm swearing all the time. It's just stuff like, how did that guy kill me? Like, God damn it, I'm better than that. Or, oh, look at that cheater. Or look at that guy holding the bolt shot the whole game in the corner, invisible. Like, just, I it's what I don't like to see. Basically, like I'm a competitive guy, fair. I want a fair competitive game. None of this, cheap shit. And
So
I should be better than everyone else in this game. And, like,
and you're clearly not. I think we've all.
For some reason, I think I should not die. Like if I went 21, that one kill, I'd be so pissed.
Wow. And what about you, LB?
God
like,
damn,
I feel like you don't rage too much while playing. Is there like am I wrong, or are you like a closet rager? Is that what it is?
I think it's a little bit of closet rage. I mean, I definitely have my moments where, like in the Bolt Shot thread, I posted a few GIFs or GIFs where I was like, this is how I feel. And honestly, there have been times I used to have one of the squeeze stress balls
that you use while gaming.
That I've had.
Oh wow, this is fantastic.
There, and I actually busted it.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did. I mean, it was a little bit worn down, but I was so pissed off. I squeezed it so fucking hard that it ripped and the stuff oozed out. And I'm like,
wow,
I'm playing a game. Wow. And I just got so angry at insignificant aspect of it. It caused me to bust this freaking thing open.
I'm actually kind of impressed with you right now.
I mean, I kind of yell. I mean, some of the guys I play with, I'll be like, "Oh, that was fucking bullshit," or like, "Oh, okay, Captain Bolt Shot, you're hiding in the goddamn corner."
Captain Bolt Shot. Wow.
and then at that point, it's like over. I don't care if I go 0-16. The next 16 or next 17 attempts, if I get that dude by sticking him or whatever, I will feel justified in my position.
Right.
I may have just caused my team to lose, but I was like, I just fucking killed you. Yeah! And it means nothing in the end, but at that particular time,
it's justice.
I have joy.
It's justice.
It's justice.
Wow.
Justice is mine.
Well, it's funny. Go ahead.
I have a question for everyone, actually. Have you guys ever reached the point where you've broken something?
Oh, God.
I just told you. I busted a squeeze ball.
He killed a squeeze
Okay,
ball.
all right. Yeah.
I have murdered, probably in my day, 5 to 6, a dozen controllers, I think. At least a dozen controllers. And I have broken discs as well. And I think it runs in our family because the biggest thing to me is I remember, he's probably going to kill me for even saying it, but my brother called me on the phone one day, and he's like, I can't play Call of Duty anymore. And I was like, why? He's like, I don't have the game. Like, what do you mean you don't have the game? He's like, well, I threw the controller and I broke it. And then, because I was so mad that I broke my own controller, I went to the Xbox, ejected the disc, and snapped the disc in half. And I was like, wow. That's like a really progressed amount of rage. That's like you're raging, and then you're like, I've gone too far. But instead of your brain saying like, stop, you're like, fuck it. What's the next level? And I'm like, you're lucky you didn't break the console, because like that is a level of rage I only wish I could get to.
Well, I mean, look at Drost. He did an article about it for Reach.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it was only like a few weeks out of when Halo 4 was coming out. But still, he was it literally took him to the point of where he could not take it anymore.
Yeah.
And instead of turning that game in, and at the time, you were still getting
decent money.
I think it was like $12 or $15 credit for it.
Yeah, decent money.
He chose to take it to his garage and shit on it with a hammer.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
It was beyond, for myself, it was beyond comprehension. I'm like, dude, you could have turned that in for credit and used that towards, Halo 4. And he's like, I don't care. I fucked that game. I showed it that I dominated it with a hammer.
Yeah. Well, I'm like the closet alcoholic type of guy. I think that's like my rage is really weird. Like in the forums, I think I've learned over the years that forums are so pointless. And a lot of times you'll see me if I come in and I'm kind of instigating nerd rage, which is really bad because I'm supposed to be the one that's like calming things down. But I like to make comments that are like really ambiguous. Like it could mean anything, It's like, is he fucking with me right now? That's like my goal in life, So that stuff doesn't affect me. I'm never like really affected by the forum stuff. That's like, to me, that's really the most internet tough guy thing you could possibly do. It means nothing. But then I'll play a game and I think everything's cool. I'm like, I'm very calm and collected now in my older age. I'm no longer a freak. But then I play for like 20 minutes in Halo 4 and I'm literally screaming at the monitor. I'm like flipping my shit and I don't even play the game. Like it's not even something that I like actively pursue to do. And yet I'll flip the fuck out. And I'll randomly kick a puppy. If a puppy would walk by as I was playing Halo and I got angry enough, I'd punt it. I'd punt a puppy. I really would. So, and that,
Wait a minute.
I don't know.
Are you telling us you don't have that same amount of rage when, say, you're raiding in an MMO?
In an MMO, I can rage, and if I rage on that level, it's a horrifying level of rage to the point of like, I get to the flip your desk, like I'm standing up like, ah! And I just flip that bitch. It's really bad. But it takes a lot more for me to get to that point. So it's weird. I mean, I think for whatever reason, and I guess it's something that we've all learned tonight, is that FPS, for whatever crazy fucked up, like it takes very little in an FPS in that genre to rage. And I think that's forum based, and I think it's actual gameplay based. And a lot of these other games, it's a slow sort of marination of rage that occurs over a long period of time until like you literally flip your shit and you may never come back again. It could just be like you're done. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we didn't really rage at all when we were playing Star Wars. We didn't really rage. And like, I mean, when you're PvPing, you can rage. You can like, that can happen. Yeah. You're upset about the way your class performs or that you can't get to these buttons quick enough or whatever. But it's like, it's not nearly as bad, I think, as FPS. I think we've uncovered the truth tonight. That's my feeling.
I think it depends on the person. Because, like, I mean, part of the reason I don't play StarCraft is because
that's a good point.
I had, I wasn't screaming necessarily with my people that I played with, but I'm like, are you fucking serious? Because I can't friggin' tap the keyboard fast enough, or I was 0.75 milliseconds off of my keyboard tap. The rest of the game, I am fucked. No, I'm done. I have no desire to play like zero, none.
Well, that's
true too. If that was the last game to play, I would start reading.
Whoa, and we all know that you can't read, so that is a big deal. That's a big deal.
So angry.
Well, I guess that's true too. There's some games, and I have to agree with you 100%. I bought StarCraft. I played it for like 2-3 weeks, and I was like, I am clearly not cut out for this game. Like, I don't have the dedication, the time, the reflex, anything. There's no, and we're competitive by nature, so they bracket it out purposefully, like bronze, platinum. There's these levels that you play in. And you're like in the bronze and you're getting shit on. You're like, I can't even get out of this bronze. Like if you don't feel that you even have the ability to drag yourself out of the mud, then you're just like, this is not a game worth playing. Like you want to, and it creates more and more rage. Yeah. So that's true. I mean, it's an interesting whole idea. I mean, it comes down to sports. It comes down to competitive nature, I think. It's a hobby like any other, but hobbies tend to, the deeper you get into a hobby, the deeper you get into the love of anything, the more you're willing to defend it, even if you completely like put out the fact that there's other human beings out there. You don't even care. You're like, I don't care. These guys, everyone is dumb. No. I am the one that is not dumb, and I will prove to you on the internet why you're stupid.
Yep.
So yeah. There you go. Raging in games. Apparently it does not matter if you're old, young, smart, or dumb. You will rage at some point while you play games. That's going to wrap it up for the show. Thanks, everyone, for coming out tonight. Next week, we're going to do our best of for 2012, since we didn't do it the past 2 weeks. I don't know why. So we're going to figure out what games we love, what games we really, really liked, and hopefully they make sequels to. Hitman will probably inevitably talk about Walking Dead at some point, because that's all he fucking talks about.
Warranted. It's warranted.
I mean, apparently it's warranted. But by the way, he also thinks Project X is one of the best movies ever made. So if you want to weigh his review structure, I don't know. LB, if they want to hang out with you and become best friends with you on the internet and tell you why you fucking suck at games and why the bolt shot is in fact the most balanced weapon in the world, how can they reach you?
You can find me at Twitter at LBSUTKE or Xbox Live at LBSUTKE or
whoa.
the PlayStation Network, which I never play video games on, at LBSUTK.
Sweet. Hit if they want to go to you for some maybe movie reviews, things like that. Stuff they should.
Yeah, you can follow me at Twitter, Xbox, PlayStation. I'm i6hitman, and my gaming live stream channel at twitch.tv/WatchTowerGames.
Yeah, because somebody got into
Somebody had to get a new account.
Somebody is bad. And you can find me at everywhere. Dude I Rock, DOODIROCK. Playing a lot of PC, so you can catch me on Steam because I don't really like the Xbox. Causes too much rage, I feel. You guys want to rage about that? I can rage about that all night. Piece of shit.
I think you're full of shit.
Yeah.
You don't see my point of view. Die.
But if not, next week, same time, 6:30 p.m., we're going to try to make this as accurate as possible. Tonight, we actually started on time, which is really, that'll probably never happen again. So 6:30, 7-ish Central Standard-ish time in that vicinity. And we'll see you guys next week. Peace out. Later, chat room.
See you guys.